In the chaos of World War II, soldiers quickly realized that water was as critical as ammunition, and often just as scarce. Across North Africa, the Pacific Islands, and the frozen forests of Europe, troops faced dehydration, contamination, and the constant struggle of transporting water quietly and efficiently. Metal canteens dented, glass bottles shattered, and clay containers were completely impractical on the march. Yet, buried in soldiers' journals, trench notes, and post-war interviews, a remarkable improvisation emerges: the water bladder. Not issued, not standard, and rarely mentioned in official manuals, these bladders offered mobility, durability, and capacity that far outperformed traditional containers. For the first minute, it's important to recognize that these weren't luxury items. They were survival tools, developed out of necessity, and they worked. Soldiers learned to carry litres of water in compact, flexible bladders made from rubberized fabrics, animal hides, and other materials at hand. The result was lightweight, collapsible hydration that could be concealed, carried silently, and deployed anywhere. Once you grasp the design and technique behind these World War II water bladders, you'll see why they remain one of the most versatile survival tools ever developed, and why modern bushcrafters still rely on the same principles. When it comes to flexibility and materials, well, these water bladders really stand out. They could be fashioned from whatever resources were available, making them adaptable to nearly any environment or situation. This kind of ingenuity ensured that soldiers, and now bushcrafters, could always find a way to carry and store water, no matter the circumstances. The bladder worked because flexibility, really trumped rigid containers in every battlefield scenario. Rigid canteens were predictable, sure, but inflexible. A full metal canteen rattled, dented, and, limited how much water could be carried. Flexible bladders, on the other hand, adjusted as they emptied, compressing naturally to eliminate sloshing. Soldiers could tuck them into jackets, wrap them in spare clothing, or fold them neatly into backpacks. In the Pacific jungles, water bladders, crafted from rubberized poncho material, resisted humidity and abrasions better than cans. In Europe and North Africa, soldiers often turned to cleaned animal hides, sometimes using the stomachs of small game or livestock. These natural containers were lightweight, tough, and, surprisingly waterproof when properly prepared. Modern survivalists can replicate this principle with treated leather, waxed canvas, or sturdy waterproof fabrics. The key is to prioritize flexibility. The container must compress as it empties while holding shape when full. This simple feature solves problems that rigid bottles cannot address, even in today's bushcraft and camping scenarios. So let's talk a bit about construction and sealing techniques. Soldiers, they had to be resourceful, using whatever materials were on hand to create watertight containers. The methods they developed were both practical and pretty ingenious, ensuring the bladders would hold up under tough conditions. The bladders were made by exploiting natural seams or heat-sealing methods. When using hides, soldiers cleaned and scraped the inner layers, making sure the container was free from residues that could contaminate water. Openings were tied with cordage, leather strips, or strips of fabric, forming a leak-proof seal. The elasticity of the material allowed it to stretch without tearing, even under pressure. Rubberized fabrics were treated differently. Soldiers heated 2 layers together using a fire-heated knife or a flat metal object. The heat fused the fibers and created a watertight seam. For temporary field solutions, folding the material multiple times and tying it tightly produced a similarly reliable seal. Today, you can replicate this technique using modern waterproof fabric fold, compress and secure the top with strong cordage or even temporary clips. A simple heat application along seams can dramatically improve water retention. So, when it comes to volume, portability and temperature control, these features really made a difference back in the day. The design of the World War II water bladder was, well, quite ingenious, allowing troops to stay hydrated under tough conditions. The strength of the World War II bladder came from its large volume and portability. Patrols often needed to transport more water than a single canteen could hold. Bladders allowed a single soldier to carry 2 to 4 litres, sometimes more, without adding cumbersome weight or noise. They could be moulded around other gear, tucked between clothing layers, or packed into corners of backpacks. When water was consumed, the bladder compressed, leaving no wasted space. Soldiers used them to shuttle water from central supply points to hidden encampments or outposts, a simple method that honestly dramatically increased survival chances. For modern applications, these same bladders can be used as portable reservoirs for filtering, gravity-fed purification systems, or emergency storage during extended treks. The space-saving design allows flexibility that rigid bottles, well, simply cannot match. The bladder also improved temperature control compared to metal canteens. In desert environments, metal canteens would heat rapidly, making water almost undrinkable. Flexible bladders, wrapped in cloth and carried close to the body or stored in shade, kept water cooler for longer periods. Some soldiers even buried their bladders in shallow sandpits to take advantage of natural cooling, a method still used by nomadic cultures today. For modern bushcraft, filling a collapsible bladder, wrapping it in damp cloth and placing it in airflow or partial shade can reduce water temperature significantly without ice or refrigeration. Simplicity, durability, and adaptability. These qualities have always defined the most effective water storage solutions, from ancient times right through to the present day. The technique endures because it combines simplicity, durability, and adaptability. A World War II water bladder required no special supply chain, no factory precision, and no specialized tools. Its value was in its portability, collapsibility, and reliability. Today, a well-constructed bladder still offers a low-tech, effective solution for hydration. It can serve as a drinking vessel, a temporary water reservoir, or even a tool for cooking or washing when other equipment is limited. Its simplicity and efficiency make it ideal for bushcraft survival and emergency preparedness. If you want more in-depth lessons on forgotten World War II survival innovations and historically grounded bushcraft techniques, make sure to subscribe to Backyard Wisdom. Share this video with fellow history enthusiasts and survivalists and keep the knowledge alive. These ancient and wartime practices are more than curiosities. They're proven tools that continue to save time, energy, and lives today.